So Juneteenth, a celebration of freedom. So Will and I looked around and found a place that was celebrating Juneteenth. We were able to see an enactment of Harriet Tubman.
Like a bride. And he gonna usher me up to the pearly gates. Then we gonna get to the gate.
Enjoy some great food from Nigeria and Jamaica. And also listen to some great music. Of course, I wanted to find a little bit more about Juneteenth, like why was Texas the last one to free the enslaved? So in this video, we're going to take a look at the before period, during, and after events of Juneteenth. So let's look at the before period, and that would be the time frame right after the Emancipation Proclamation of President Lincoln in January 1st of 1863 to the beginning of June in 1865. So after the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, the Union soldiers generally notified the enslaved of their freedom. Unfortunately, in Texas, there was not a large presence of Union soldiers. Therefore, numerous enslavers from the other rebellious southern states took advantage of this. And so they moved their slaves to Texas so they could continue with the free labor and slavery. And most enslavers refused to submit to freeing the enslaved until they were actually forced. That is why Texas was the last to free the enslaved. So now let's look at the during. Obviously, that's June 19th, 1865. And let's refer to that as Texas Freedom Day. Union General Gordon Granger had about 2,000 regiment of troops that went into Galveston, Texas. His troops were joined by an additional 5,000 to 10,000 soldiers, and included in this was the regiment of U.S. colored troops. Their orders were to enforce General Order Number 3, the Emancipation Proclamation, setting free slaves in the Confederate States. So it was probably powerful for the enslaved to see black soldiers who were providing this information that they were free. So what was General Order Number 3? General Order Number 3 reads, "The people of Texas are informed that, in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and the rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. The freemen are advised to remain quietly at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness either there or elsewhere." That last part was interesting, but let's move on to after June 19th. So, of course, the after of Juneteenth was a feeling of free at last. 250,000 enslaved people were freed. This period was also called the Scatter. Newly freed people left before Granger could finish making the official announcement. Many freed people left to find family members who had been taken to other regions during slavery. Others just headed north. However, some stayed behind, fearing for the welfare of themselves and their families. So Juneteenth is a great time to celebrate freedom for all. Whether you celebrated learning about history, reading poetry, step dancing, string music, great food, hibiscus tea, red velvet cake, barbecue, or just sitting back and listening to some great jazz. Happy Juneteenth. Celebrate Juneteenth.